You're listening to Superpowers of the Soul on the Superpower Up Podcast, the show that elevates superpowers to the divine.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jennifer Urezzio, superpower expert and founder of Soul Language, and this is Superpowers of the Soul. And today's a really exciting special guest. Yay! Her name's Baeth Davis, and the topic is living your spiritual purpose. And just a little bit of background before I say hola to Baeth. Baeth is one of the catalysts of my own journey. So it's really exciting that I get to talk to her today. She's an amazing individual, and I'm so excited to welcome her to the show. Welcome, Baeth.
Thank you, Jennifer. It is a true delight, honor, pleasure, and wonder to be here today. I am really happy to be here with you.
I am really happy as well. I mean, we've talked more over the last year, but, what I love about Baeth is, and our relationship is, we'll go for years without talking, and then we'll pick up like the same conversation we left off. Like, it's that kind of flowy and easy. And I think that's really about consciousness and true connection. And so my favorite first question is, what do you consider the superpower of your soul?
The superpower of my soul is helping people identify their soul's purpose or their spiritual purpose, primarily from what I would call their biological imprint or design. And I use a number of different tools to do this, primarily scientific hand analysis. So I help someone figure out why they came to Earth, why they incarnated, and then what I do is I help them activate their inner wealth, which isn't just money,
right?
But it's all forms of prosperity. And the activation goes smoothly or roughly, depending on the person, because the activation requires this huge, huge level of trust. So that's one of the things I'm noticing. The effect of my superpower is that the person has to be really ready to let go of a lot of conditioning to step into it.
Yeah, I think with anything, right, there's all of this new information coming in about, it's really about, you have everything you need inside you. It's how you direct it, how you utilize it through pattern and programming, which is going to cause suffering, either great or small, or through consciousness, which is pure energy of that soul. So you touched a little bit, gave us a little kind of nuggets there about what your sacred purpose is. And we often define sacred purpose over here in Soul Language Superpower Land as, what you're profoundly here to experience and then offer that experience to others. So what would you consider your sacred purpose?
My sacred purpose? Didn't I just say, is it? Well, I kind of consider it the same thing as my superpower. Are they different?
No, well, that depends your viewpoint, but yeah. So elaborate about how that sacred purpose has shown up in your life then.
That is a really good question. I, back in my late 20s, was working in marketing and super bored. And that's when someone introduced me to hand analysis. And I was very resistant. And this is one thing I would say to anyone listening today to this interview, to notice the good things trying to come into our lives that we resist, particularly if they repeatedly come into our lives. After rebuffing my friend Pammy the first time, she came back 7 more times. And finally I relented and I said, okay, I will meet your hand analyst lady and get my palms read. It was, of course, one of the better decisions of my entire life to accept her persistence, to accept that offering. And in that experience, my purpose was revealed to me from my own hands as a spiritual teacher and business person acting as an innovative role model. And that is really what it has turned out to be. Is that I am a bit of a trailblazer in terms of being the first person to really get hand analysis online. And I had that pointed out to me by another hand analyst. It wasn't something that actually even occurred to me. But as I look back, I realized, oh yeah, that's actually true. There's a lot of people now bringing this amazing technology of the spirit to the world, or the technology of self-discovery to the world. That was what was in my hands. And I decided in the midst of having that initial reading that I was going to believe that it was true. I was going to take it to heart, which I indeed did do. I decided, okay, well, if I am a spiritual teacher and a business owner, innovating and being a role model, well, oh boy, I better be role model worthy, right? Get my shiz together, as I like to say, and learn more about spirituality, which I had already begun to do, of course, before I was even introduced to hand analysis. It probably started in earnest when I was a kid. My dad had learned some palm reading from a book by a guy named Cairo, since dead. And Cairo was a famous palmist back in his time. I believe it was in the 1800s or early 20th century. And Cairo wrote this book. And so my dad studied the book, and he learned these little hand reading skills. And he would entertain people at parties. And I got very interested. And he also was studying mind reading and telekinesis and intuition, and this on top of his work as a computer engineer. So my dad's very curious and very open-minded, and very much his own person, and that inspired me. In school, they asked us to do a report on something unusual, and so I did my report on palm reading, and this is back when I was 10 or 11 years old. I still have the poster board. I have the poster board. I'm looking at it right now because I told you I've been feng shuiing my apartment. I've been emptying out every drawer and every bookshelf and everything. So I'm actually looking at it today. I haven't looked at it in a while. And that was the beginning. And then I did some papers on witchcraft because I was so fascinated actually by the medicine women of the villages in Western Europe back in the Middle Ages, and I really got into all of that. And then by the time I got to college, I discovered Carl Jung and astrology and Freud, and I discovered philosophy. So I really got into psychology, philosophy, astrology, and Jungian analysis.
No wonder why marketing was boring.
Yeah, right. Marketing was a little boring. Marketing has turned out to be a great skill.
Right.
Having a business, but yeah, it was a little dull, and but it's really served me well. So that was the beginning of me being aware. Wow, I'm really interested in what makes us tick, what motivates us. Yeah.
So in hand analysis, for those people that aren't that familiar, there's the life purpose based on your fingerprints and the life lesson based on your fingerprints, and those tend to be. The life lesson I always look at it as a big common theme that runs through your life. Besides that, because you're so intimately familiar with your life lesson through that kind of modality, what would you also consider a common theme that your soul has shared with you throughout your journey?
It's about power. The real common theme in my life is power. It's how I view the world. It's also part of my life lesson is owning my power, understanding how my power impacts, taking responsibility for that power, empowering others to take a stand for what they believe in, taking a stand for the life that they want, living their passions, speaking their truth, basically overcoming any sense of victimization or being done to, and finding that inner reserve of strength to make manifest what they came here to express.
So just because now I kind of want to know if there is, one, not that you just want to share one thing, but if there was one thing that you want to share from that big theme around power, what would it be?
It would be about the power that comes with being truly free. And a big part of that in modern society is financial freedom, because we're in a web of manipulation and conditioning around financial freedom that we can break free from. It really takes a determined person to make that decision to free themselves from that. So I feel that I empower people to choose their purpose over the conditioning. And inherent in that is to create a life of freedom. And in order to be truly free, you need to be healthy, because without your health,
right, you got nothing.
You got nothing. That's like at the top of the list. When people say, what matters most to you in your life? I'd say health. Because even if you're broke, if you've got your health, you can learn skills, you can network, you can do some pretty radical and totally legal things to increase your prosperity. So health freedom, financial freedom, relationship freedom, people being free to express their sexuality in a way that's true for them, to be in the kind of relationships they want to be. I mean, one thing I've learned through studying people's soul design, the matrix of their spirit, if you will, is that not many people are really set up for monogamy, which if you look at the statistics, is fairly obvious. But that's part of the conditioning, right? That everybody's supposed to, find their special someone. Well, actually, no. Maybe about 46% of people are supposed to find their special someone. Other people have alternate ways of creating partnership, of creating intimacy. Some people are actually polyamorous. It's their design. So one of the things my work has shown me about freedom is I have had to put any kind of preconception I have about, morality, ethics. Not that I ever was really hung up on morality, although I do get hung up on people being in integrity, right, and keeping their commitments, honoring their word. But that's a character trait versus someone's lifestyle choices. It's like, what's going to make you happy and empowered? Because it's that sense of power that gives us the willingness to make a change, to go for the life that we want to live. So I don't know if I've answered it.
You totally answered it, and you opened up a bunch of doors, which we are going to kind of go through after the brief break here. So before we break, tell people how to get in touch with you.
Oh, yeah. So if you would like to take my quiz on discovering the kryptonite in your business, you can go to Baeth, BAETH.com. ETH.com. It's Baeth with an A in front of the E. It's not Beeth. Mm-hmm. It's Baeth. And if you were to say it in Gaelic, it would be Baeth. Go to Baeth.com or you can go to palmreadingpro.com if you're interested in actually learning scientific hand analysis and decoding your own hands with the support of myself and our online courses and my team, of course. So Baeth.com, you can do the quiz, which is super fun, about the kryptonite in your business. And of course, the kryptonite in your business is the kryptonite in every part of your life, which you touched on, which is your life lesson. But the quiz will help the person ascertain where their lesson most shows up.
Beautiful.
As it relates to money and business, because that's a big issue for people, right? Do you forget to send out your invoices? Are you that person? Do you forget to pay your bills? Are you afraid to be in the spotlight? That kind of thing. So they can go to Baeth.com and take that quiz, and it's a really fun quiz. And then we'll, we have some additional content if people want access to it, and I'd be honored to support anyone that drops by.
Beautiful. Okay, everyone, stay tuned to get more of Jen and Baeth.
Are you here to change the world? Do you talk about things like vibration, frequency, awakening, and consciousness? Are you pretty sure you have superpowers? The Superpower Net is unlike normal coaching programs and conscious communities. We provide training, intuitive guidance, peer-to-peer learning, intensive one-on-one coaching, and a high vibrational network of people just like you. When you join the net, you get 24/7 access to a collaborative group of people who support you as you master your personal power and unlock your superpowers. If you're ready to use your superpowers to change the world, then join the Superpower Net today. Visit superpowerexperts.com/thenet to learn more.
Well, welcome back. It's Jennifer Urezzio, and this is Superpowers of the Soul, and we're talking with Baeth Davis today about living your spiritual purpose. So we touched in the beginning of the show a little bit about, being free is really, you know, that freedom inside, and creating that freedom is really key to living your spiritual purpose, right? Because you need that freedom of creation and finance, and you need the freedom to know that you're safe to take the next step. What you've really talked to a lot of souls, and you've looked at a lot of hands. What do you consider another kind of key attribute of living your spiritual purpose?
Well, obviously, I'm a little biased towards the hands since it's my profession.
I'm a little biased to soul language, so we're cool.
That's right. That's right. Well, it's soul language is a technology that you are the channel for.
Yeah.
And so it's vital that you share that. And of course, it's all interlinked. That's a wonderful thing about what we do. So back to the hands, I think it's vital that people know their specific life purpose, which is in the fingerprints, as well as the life lesson, which is the blind spot. I have polled many, 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 many clients over the years. And one of my clients is Fabienne Fredrickson, who some of you may know. She's an online coach. And I mentioned her, one, because today's her birthday. Happy birthday, Fabienne. And two, because she gave me permission to share her experience. Now, she has coached, like you and I, thousands and thousands of people all over the world. And some years ago, I said to her, Fabienne, when we work together, what was the most beneficial aspect of the work that we did that you have gone on to use in your life? And she said, oh, without a doubt, the life lesson.
I would agree with that statement.
The life lesson. Now, the life lesson is the key to the hand. When I test people, my students, when they do their written test and their oral test to become a certified hand analyst, which takes about 3 years for people to go through the whole process. When they take that test, their job is to identify the key to the hand, which is the life lesson. Now, you'd be amazed at how difficult this concept is for the students to grasp, because they're bumping up against the wrong. I'm like, it's a life lesson, it's a life lesson, it's a life lesson. If you get to the life lesson, you're going to pass the darn test. And they're like, what's the key to the test again? I'm like, oh. So the key to the hand is the life lesson. The key to your life is your life lesson, because it's that repeating pattern. Now, in Fabienne's case, she's a very, very well-known business mentor. I would call her a business mentor, but also quite an innovator in the business world. Now, here's what's ironic. Her life lesson is around self-worth. Self-worth.
Yeah.
And contracts with herself, and commitments and confidence, all those C words. And she wrote a book. She wrote a book that was published by Hay House about self-worth. And I read the book and I said, Fabienne, you have taken your life lesson and turned it into the secret sauce.
Yeah.
She said, well, yeah, I know, but you helped me find out what my life lesson was. So the reason I'm sharing that particular story is that this woman, Fabienne, took her life lesson, applied it to her whole life. And she had told me, she said, even before I met you, Beth, I knew that having a sense of confidence in myself was my Achilles heel. It was my Achilles heel. I put up with some not so great boyfriends, right? I put up with some not so great behaviors in my family. I had basically let people not treat me well because I put up with it. I felt that's what I was worth. And I realized that if my life was going to change, I was going to have to upgrade my selection process in terms of who I allowed into my life and the behaviors that I would and would not engage in. And then I met you and you confirmed it. So here's someone that's gone on to be hugely successful in business, which requires fundamentally confidence and commitment. It requires confidence and commitment. Most of us aren't born with it. The opposite of that is a lack of confidence, right? Doubting yourself, which so many people have. Oh, how can I charge that? And that's what got her into the business, was she would stay up at night sweating it out. Oh my God, how am I going to pay my bills? And she figured out how to pay her bills. And then people started asking her, hey, how are you paying your bills? She said, well, maybe I should turn that into a business. And that's how she went on to create her business, showing people in our field, I call it the self-discovery industry, the healer industry, how to be successful in business. My point is that your life lesson, whether it's self-worth or mine around power and victimization, trust, results versus failure, family lesson. Some people have a family lesson. They're the black sheep of the family. Whatever the life lesson is, when you move it or move from the student path, which feels yucky, to the master path, which feels delightful and easy, it becomes the secret sauce to your life. Now, particularly for the entrepreneurs listening, the healers, the professionals, people who very much enjoy working, as you and I do. We enjoy working, which is most of the population. About 70% of humans are actually designed to work. The other 30% are always so relieved when I tell them, you're not supposed to work so hard. But you and I, Jennifer, we're designed to work. We like to work. We have anything, people have to tell us not to work. The secret sauce, your life lesson, becomes the secret sauce in your business. So if we go back to the example of Fabienne, her writing a book that's basically a confessional about, hey, I didn't always have this great sense of self. I wasn't always wealthy and popular and self-loving. I was really down on myself and broke and sweating it out at night. And I turned it around. Here's how I did it. She speaks to the people who are having a confidence deficit, if you will, right? So that's her marketing, right? So the audience out there that's thinking, I know I could be making more money in my business. I know I could be working with better clients. That's where her marketing speaks to, right? So for myself, my marketing speaks to people who are having a spiritual crisis of meaning. And they're wondering, what is my life purpose? Because that's your greatest power in life. And I will continue to use the story of Fabienne because she found me via a website in 2003. And I said to her, why did you hire me as your coach? And she started crying. And she said, your web copy. You said right there on your homepage that finding my life purpose was the key to my life and living an empowered life. And I want to confirm my life purpose. And I also want to know what my life lesson is, by the way, my blind spot. So essentially, that's why I think that's also important, is that someone who's really, really struggling can go on to do extraordinary things that astound even them when they know their life lesson, because it is the secret sauce to your life. It is the secret sauce to your business. In other words, what you're here to learn is what you're here to teach. What you're here to be is your life purpose, and that comes easily.
Yeah, and I totally agree. In fact, when we do certifications, we talk about the life lesson, because I go, okay, that's your key to moving from unconscious to consciousness. And believe it or not, we are almost out of time, Baeth Davis.
Hey, we got to the heart of the matter here.
So totally. And if you want more of Baeth Davis, again, please let everyone know before I ask you my last question. How people can reach out to you. How can they get in touch with you? How do they get more of Baeth?
So you can go to baeth.com, BAETH.com, and you can take my quiz, What's the Kryptonite in Your Business? Of course, your kryptonite is your life lesson. What's the kryptonite in your business? And if you're interested in the ultimate coaching tool, which I've trademarked that term, the ultimate coaching tool, I believe, is hand analysis. Because once a coach can identify someone's life purpose and life lesson, they're off to the races. Because not everybody is Jennifer Urezzio and downloads technology to identify one's purpose. And of course, they can also study with you. So I would say to people who are coaches particularly, or even consultants, because I have many clients who are psychologists or who work, get this, as managers in corporations, HR departments, who have become students in hand analysis so that they can help their team. And I would say to anyone listening, if you feel called to add a profound tool to your skill set, consider working with Jennifer, consider working with me, consider working with both of us. Tune into what's going to be that tool for you, because knowledge truly is power. Or I like to take it a step further. Knowledge applied is power. Knowledge applied is power. Many of us have information and don't use it. I mean, everybody knows that if you want to get in shape, you've got to eat less and move more. I mean, it really is that. There's really not much more to it. However, applying that becomes very much a landmine for many people because of the blind spot, because of the life lesson, aka the kryptonite. We sabotage ourselves and we don't even know why. And that's where you come in. That's where I come in. We all need help. We all need support. We're not islands. We're a community. And each of us is called to express our gifts, to live our essence, to be in our purpose. One, because it's fun and it's freeing. And two, because it's our design to be of service to one another. Humanity is designed to serve one another. And the way that we serve is to live in our purpose. At least I think so.
Beautiful. Okay, so the last question is, if you were a magnet on whatever you call your higher power refrigerator, what would that magnet say?
Oh, that's a really great question. I actually have one on my refrigerator, and I don't know who to credit for it. It's a bumper sticker that I magneted. I didn't paste it on the refrigerator, but there's a magnet holding it up, and it says, if you're not in awe, you're not paying attention.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for your input in my life and everything you've done. I'm so excited that you took your time today to talk to me. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. It's really a pleasure. And thank you to everyone who joined in. Really honored.
Beautiful. So if you liked what you've heard today, you can connect with me and all the other experts in the Superpower Net at superpowerexperts.com/the net to find out more. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to find your connection.
Are you ready to discover your superpowers? Go now to superpowerexperts.com and take the Superpower Quiz today.